What's going on, you guys? Welcome back to the channel. Now today we are going to be talking about Supreme's top 15 rarest items ever. Now Supreme is one of the most hyped brands in the world. When a collection drops on a Thursday, it's no secret that people line up for hours just to get their foot in the door. I mean, you can be lined up for hours. Once you get your foot in the store, there's no guarantee that you're going to get what you want. And the same goes for online. Each Thursday, the online store is swamped with so-called hype beasts just trying to get their hands on the latest pieces, and most of the time they're unsuccessful. So you can basically guarantee that you'll never get your hands on every product they put out. I mean, the hype is so high that unless you have a few thousand to spend on a resold item, then you can pretty much say goodbye to your dream piece. So these products I'm about to show you guys are so rare that they're hardly in existence anymore. So coming in at number 1, we have the black box logo t-shirt from 2003. Now this is one of the rarest Supreme box logo t-shirts to date and was originally released in 2003. In 2007 it was re-released, which was then followed a few years later with a special friends and family drop. Now recently it has been worn by the likes of Kanye West, 2 Chainz, Travis Scott, who is proving to be a massive Supreme fan. Now personally this is like a grail piece for me, but I know I'm gonna have to drop a big bag just to get it, and I don't know if I want to do that yet. But with that being said, let's move on to this second item. Now this next item is the Loman Dex that released in 2007. Now I was shocked that it took so long for Supreme to do this collaboration with Loman, mostly due to the fact that the artist's bullet hole design has been graced on the walls of the original Supreme store since day one. He is embedded in the brand's DNA. In 2007, Supreme finally enlisted Loman to help them create a new set of decks, and these featured the bullet hole design. The decks, however, were made only available to a select few employees and have since become some of the rarest decks to date. Now, I mean, you can try and snag one up on eBay, but that's really gonna set you back like 5 grand, so that's a pretty penny for a skate deck, but some people may think it's worth it, so it is what it is. Now, number 3 on the list is this Mitzi Gaynor Tee that released in the early 2000s. Now, this t-shirt is one of the least known and least talked about in Supreme's history. This is largely due to the fact that it was never actually released. It was a sample that was rumored to be inspired by the American actress and show star Mitzi Gaynor, and on the t-shirt, Gaynor is dancing in a dress that undeniably features the Supreme logo. Never officially released to the public, this t-shirt has fallen into the hands of friends and family of the brand. Now this is the first time I've seen this t-shirt, and I think it's actually a really dope design, and if they released that thing now, it would be up there considered with like the Kate Moss and all them type tees. That piece is just so fire. Let's move on to the next one. Now number 4, we have the Alpinestars Jacket that released in 2006. So this is one of the most legendary Supreme pieces, and only 11 were actually ever manufactured and sold. Now due to its exclusivity, it is one of the most secret Supreme inventions, and very few people have actually heard of the motorbike jacket's existence. Now the man who began designing for Alpinestars in 2003 essentially met the guy who was running the Supreme LA store, and the pair decided to put their creative heads together and collaborate. Now they ended up using brands like Undefeated, Stussy, and the Van Syndicate logos across a series of 11 jackets, which were also made in Italy. This is a jacket that is 99% guaranteed to never turn up on one of those online Supreme forums, or StockX, or Go, any of them, where people like to sell and trade their old pieces. You'd be extremely lucky to even come across one of these, as they weren't ever actually for sale and were gifted to close friends of Supreme. This jacket is so tough. If I seen someone wearing that now and I didn't know about this, I would assume it's fake because it has all the other brands on it, but I think that's what makes this jacket actually fire, is the different brands on the jacket, plus the Supreme. It's amazing. And you know that quality must have been A1, so I really wish they released these, but the fact that it wasn't even released makes it even more special. Now let's move on to number 5. We have the Rogue State Tee. Now this was an exclusive for friends and family, so it's still pretty difficult to get your hands on. Now this is probably the first one on the list that I'm not the hugest fan of. I just think the design is pretty plain. I mean, I know plain is good sometimes, but I'd expect something a little more for friends and family. I mean, nonetheless, it's a pretty cool tee, and I would love to get my hands on it, but that's not gonna happen. So let's move on to the next one. Now number 6, one of my favorites, and it is the Nike SB Dunk Low Pros from 2003. Now rumor has it that this was the original concept for the Supreme X Nike SB 2003 collaboration, and so getting your hands on the original sample is near impossible. Initially, it was going to be a Nike SB Dunk Low Pro silhouette delivered in 3 colorways, which referenced Nike SB's Be True campaign in 1986. The original design featured gold Nike logos on the upper design, but this was rejected and instead replaced with stars. The low cut shape was instead switched out for high tops, and is now seen on the pairs that were actually released. Now comparing these right here to the ones they actually released, I would much prefer the ones that they originally came up with. Now don't get me wrong, the ones they released I would love to have, I would love to wear them, but compared to these right here, I mean, these just blow the other ones out the water. I just would have preferred the repeated Nike logos instead of the stars, but that's just me. Let me know if you feel the same way. Now let's move on to number 7. We have the Rizzoli Box Logo Tee from 2010. So in 2010, Supreme was celebrating its 16-year anniversary, and part of this included a t-shirt that featured a Rizzoli cover. The brand also collaborated on a book which flew off shelves, but it's the t-shirt that really caused the stir. The t-shirts were only available to employees and so are practically unattainable to anyone else. Must have been real nice to be a Supreme employee around that time, just getting all those goods. But this one right here I actually am really messing with. I think the design is really fire, and the fact that it was for the 16th year anniversary just makes it even better. Now let's move on to number 8. We have the Supreme BOGO tank top. So forget the box logo t-shirts and hoodies. This is one of the items that were made in such low quantity that it's near impossible to get now. Now this product was so rare that I can't even find pictures of it. I mean, of course you have the knockoffs now, but that's not what I'm gonna show you guys. I really wish I had some pictures to show you guys, but there's literally nothing. So we gotta move on to the next one. Next one we got is the Harmony Kill Whitney deck. Now these were unreleased, never hitting stores. This is a Supreme product you will never get your hands on, as it literally did not make it into production. A reason for this may be due to the backlash that Supreme knew it would cause. Still a pretty cool deck that we hope exists somewhere, but unfortunately I'm gonna chalk it up as it does not exist. But it is a really cool concept and I really like it. So let's move on to number 10, and I feel like a lot of you would like this one. It is the Rolex and Supreme Submariner, released in 2013. Now the Rolex and Supreme Submariner watch is one of the most coveted and sought after Supreme pieces to date. Initially previewed as part of Supreme's spring/summer 2013 collection, it is believed and rumored that the watch was limited to just 20 pieces and was only gifted to friends and family of Rolex and Supreme. Now the watch is a typical Rolex design with the words "F*** 'em" on the front and a Supreme box logo on the back. Now online reseller Stadium Goods did have one on their site at one point, but the price was insane for the average person, coming in at $50,000. This is one of the most expensive Supreme resales to date. Now this next one I'm sure a lot of you already have seen, and it is the Coleman Minibike from 2017. Now released back in June, the Coleman X Supreme Minibike went on release and was one of the most sought after pieces yet. Weighing it at 112 pounds, it was a sturdy bike that was well worth the money, and its all red frame was as Supreme as you can get. Supreme fans will also notice the ride or die wording on the frame of the bike. Now I remember when this dropped, everyone was going crazy for it. You had all the Instagram dudes taking pictures with it. It was just a super big flex item, and honestly it was a pretty cool time. Now let's move on to number 12, which is really one of my favorites on this list. It is the Sopranos and Supreme box logo from 2005. So back in 2005, Supreme teamed up with the Sopranos to release what has become one of the rarest and most sought after Supreme t-shirts of all time. The box logo t-shirt featured the traditional Supreme wording, but the R had been changed for the Sopranos gun logo. In May 2017, online reseller Grailed put one of the t-shirts on its web shop for a price of $5,400, making it one of the most expensive Supreme box logo resales to date. Now I never knew this existed until I saw this, and it is like probably one of my favorite pieces of Supreme. I mean, I know taking the R and making it a gun isn't really like a crazy thing, but I just think it works real nice, and it's just something a little different than just the normal Supreme box logo. So definitely a very fire piece. So let's move on to the next one, number 13. Now I'm gonna butcher this name, so I'm gonna put it on the screen, but it is this person and Supreme t-shirt from 2003. So back in 2003, Supreme hooked up with a Russian artist on what was to become one of the rarest and most expensive Supreme t-shirts ever made. The t-shirt that the pair created was red in color and had a picture of Meg Ryan on the front, underneath a Supreme box logo in navy. The t-shirt is so rare that only one of 2 of the samples ever to be made seems to still exist. So that's actually really crazy. I mean, the design is really nice. I think it's cool to see a little design under the box logo. I think it's a really cool touch. It's a little different. It's a really cool piece. I'd love to have it. I mean, I'd love to have any of these pieces, but this one right here is probably one of my favorites as well. So moving on to number 14, we have the sample Supreme BOGO tee. Of all the Supreme box logo t-shirts that exist, The sample version has to be one of the rarest and not to mention one of the strangest. The brand took its standard box logo design and essentially defaced it, scribbling out the wording, leaving just enough to make it readable to those fans who wanted to get their hands on this. So again, really cool design. Would actually love to see this on a hoodie. So with that being said, let's move on to the last item. Coming in at 15, we have the Supreme and Louis Vuitton trunk. So when Supreme and Louis Vuitton's creative director, Kim Jones, announced that they would be collaborating, so-called Hypebeast and Supreme fans were rejoicing. The collaboration had been rumored for a while and nothing had happened since Supreme bootlegged Louis Vuitton's monogram way back when and were met with a lawsuit. However, fans weren't so pleased when the two brands also announced that the collaboration wouldn't be full of products at Supreme's relatively low prices in comparison to those of Louis Vuitton, and instead they would have to pay the same price as they would for products from the French brand. Due to the collaborative limited edition aspect, prices soared even higher than Louis Vuitton's usual price marking. Due to their high price points, the trunk have become one of the rarest items out there, practically because no one can afford for them to be made. Now that's all we got for the list. Let me know what your favorite item was in the comments below. Now I like a lot of these items, but my favorite is probably the Mitzi Gaynor Tee. I think that tee is so clean. That's gonna wrap it up for me. Hope you enjoyed. If you guys could, go ahead and slap a like on it. If not, it's cool. Subscribe to the channel if you are new, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.